Okay, hello loves. Welcome back to Mothers Teach. My name is Simone. If you are new here, Mothers Teach talks about all things motherhood with respect to love, health, organization, and also childhood education. So you are tuning into part 5 of the My Pregnancy Experience series. And in this video, I wanted to go over pretty much all of my symptoms before I got to my confirmation pregnancy appointment. So I have them written down here on my phone. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I did notice when I first found out that I was pregnant, I didn't really have any symptoms. No morning sickness, no food aversions, no funny smells that I wanted to avoid. And so it was great. And I remember being like so excited. And I was like, yes, like I have no symptoms. It's gonna be an easy pregnancy. But I remember my mom and my mother-in-law telling me like, just wait, like you never know, don't speak too soon. And sure enough, 7 weeks came around and I started feeling the nausea. And I hate feeling nauseous. That's like the number one thing. Like I don't want to be touched. I just want to sit still. I don't want to do anything, especially if I may vomit. And luckily I did not. My whole pregnancy I did not vomit at all, which that's like one of my biggest like fears is throwing up. It's so bad. But yeah, so I started having nausea around 7 weeks. And the only thing that eased the nausea was if I ate. I always had to, sorry, my daughter's sleeping, so I keep looking at the monitor. But yeah, so the only thing that helped was eating snacks, salty snacks. So I always, like on my nightstand, I always had to have some type of bread, crackers, anything that was salty. Pretzels, Cheez-Its, whatever it was. I had to have something on my stomach, or else if I didn't eat and I kind of had like that little like hunger pain, that was the worst. I really felt nauseous. I felt like I may even have to throw up. The nausea was just constant every single day, 24/7. It never went away. And then I remember getting to my appointment that I spoke to you about in my last video, but I remember getting to my appointment. The doctor was like, so how are your symptoms? Are you feeling the morning sickness? And I remember just telling her like, yep. And feeling miserable at that appointment, but just so excited because we're getting ready to confirm that I was pregnant. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, so I had the nausea. I didn't have any food aversions. I lied. I had one food aversion, and that was salmon. One day I remember I made salmon for me and my husband, and I made it with sesame seed oil. And that sesame seed oil just set something off, and it just kicked my nausea up like 2-3 levels. And I was like, I don't even want to touch this. I had one bite and I couldn't even look at my plate or even smell it. Yeah, that was the only smell that really bothered me. And my whole pregnancy, even a little bit afterwards, I did not want to eat any salmon. I didn't know if it was the salmon or if it was the sesame seed oil, but I didn't want any parts of it. So my husband did say though that I would say stuff like, do you smell that? That stinks, but he wouldn't smell anything, or the smell wouldn't bother him. But yeah, but we're always kind of like that with each other, so I couldn't really tell whether it was the pregnancy or it was just, he just couldn't smell what I was smelling. Let me see. So I have it written down here on my phone. So let's see. Cravings. Yes, I had a serious craving for red meat. I always craved going someplace to getting like a good steak, lamb. Where we lived in Virginia, in Woodbridge, we had like the Ethiopian places and the spots that we would go to. a lot of like those kebab restaurants and takeout places. We would always be there getting something. But red meat was like, I craved it. I don't know if it was because I was low in my iron during the pregnancy, but I loved it. And I also always, still to this day, I still crave going to the Brazilian steakhouses. Those are like, that's like my favorite restaurant. I told my husband this past year for my birthday and back in September that if he took me every birthday to the Brazilian steakhouse, I would be satisfied. So yeah, I definitely crave that almost every week. And let's see, body changes. So let's go over some body changes that I had. Of course, my breasts started to get very large in size. But I always made sure that I used the shea butter all over, the natural shea butter. I used that all over. I made sure every time I thought about it, I would, put it on there just so the stretch marks wouldn't start to come. And I wouldn't get like the itching and things like that. I also used that on my stomach. The minute I found out I was pregnant, I used that shea butter oil all over my stomach. Any type of lotion, whatever it was, but I made sure every day, at least right out of the shower, or before bed, or as soon as I woke up, I was putting that oil on at least 2 or 3 times a day. And that was to avoid stretch marks, because they always say you start to get stretch marks and start early before it actually comes, and then you're trying to put the oil on, which kind of defeats the purpose. The oil is supposed to help prevent it. And then I did not have the itchiness on my stomach like most women do. Yeah, because still to this day, I don't really have any stretch marks. They didn't show up when my stomach got really large. I only noticed them after I gave birth. And it was like, I think I have like 2 here and maybe like 1 here, but that's it. I don't have any other stretch marks. So I don't know if it was just because my stomach just didn't grow at an accelerated rate where my skin couldn't keep up with it, or it was because I started so early with the shea butter oil. But yeah. And then let's see, what else do I have on here? So I had 2 experiences where I almost did vomit. Once was I had cantaloupe, and we were on a trip. I forget where we were going, but we were going further down south in Virginia. And we were going to Norfolk, Virginia for a school that I wanted to like check out. And so we were on our way there, and we had picked up some fruit because I'm like, I'm trying to have a better diet, and we'll go into that too, of what I ate and things that I had to watch out for. But yeah, so I had some cantaloupe and I was eating that, and then all of a sudden I started feeling like really nauseous, but I had ate so much cantaloupe. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh. So we had to put the windows down, but I didn't throw up, so that was good. And then it was another time that we were on our way to Delaware to visit with my mom. And it just hit me all of a sudden, like right before we were about to leave out the door. It hit me, and I'm like, what are the odds? Like, we're all packed up, ready, early for a change. Getting there on time, and then here I go having to go to the bathroom, over the toilet, thinking I'm getting ready to throw up. And then my husband gave me some bread, and I ate, little pieces of that, like here and there, and then finally it went away. But those were the only 2 times that I actually felt like I had to vomit. Otherwise, I didn't feel it. And that was my whole pregnancy. And then let's get into talking about my diet during the full length of my pregnancy. So me and my husband already had a pretty good diet with eating our leafy greens and drinking lots of water and things like that. But the pregnancy really made me tired, and I just didn't feel like drinking a lot of water because I was already, once I got to about 4 months, I was urinating a lot. Like, Priya was just sitting on my bladder, and it was just like, oh my goodness, if my bladder got really full, I could feel her like kicking, and it was just the worst. So I tried to avoid drinking so much water, unfortunately, but you know, I knew I had to consume a lot of water, so I made sure that, you know, I had one of my like really big like 34-ounce jugs, and I would fill that up, sorry, and make sure that I drank that. And that was my goal for the whole day, 34 ounces. And even though at the doctors they were telling me to drink, I think about 6 to 8 bottles of water a day, and I'm like, look, you know. But anyway, so but yeah, so we were already pretty good with our diet. I did have to cut back on a lot of the sweets that I ate because after I got married, it was like I just craved sweets. I don't know if it's because my husband, you know, ate a lot of sweets, but I really wanted like a lot of ice cream, candy, chocolate, anything, cake, cupcakes, anything you could name, I was eating it. So yeah, I had to cut back on that. That was pretty hard for me, but over time it got easier. And then I made sure that I incorporated more fruits and vegetables. That was like a must for my lunch and my breakfast. So yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't really have any issues with trying to keep up with my diet. The only struggle that I had was the sweets and the increase of water consumption that I had to do. And then also, as far as exercise, I want to talk about exercise because it is very important that you exercise during your pregnancy. That helps your body stay in shape, and also it helps with labor. So me and my husband would walk our dog at least like 2 or 3 times a day. And you know, it was hot when I was pregnant, so I was out there in the heat, even though that probably wasn't the safest thing to do, but I was out there walking up steps, walking up hills. I just made sure I walked at least 2 or 3 times a day. And you know, I felt really good after walking, and my husband was definitely my biggest supporter with that and forcing me to walk. So that was great. And then I did try some yoga, and I made sure that I went on YouTube and looked up yoga for whatever month I was in. So I would be in like, you know, 4 months, I think is when I actually started the yoga, when I was like 4 months. So I did like the 4 to 6 months yoga routines, and then once I got to 6 months I would do like the 6 to 8 months yoga routines. And then once I got to like 8 months, I pretty much was just like stretching here and there, because it was just like a lot of weight, and my hips were uncomfortable, and so I just made sure I focused on my hips and, you know, massaging them and stretching and doing straddles and things like that, you know, toe touches. And that was, you know, pretty much it. Oh, I also want to stress, as far as my diet, and I still do it to this day, we made sure that we ate all organic. And when I mean all organic, everything, down to the drinks, down to the snacks, everything was organic. Look for in my organic produce is a 5-digit code, I think PLU code on there, and it should be 5 digits. And somebody was telling me that you should look for a 9-digit one too on the barcode. I've never paid attention to that. I always just looked for the 5 digits. That means that it is going to be non-GMO organic. A lot of times it says organic, but it only has the 4 digits. That means it's GMO, genetically modified. We wanted to make sure that we ate all non-GMO foods, and so that's what I do, and I still do that to this day. So yeah, and I'll also make a video where you guys can see me grocery shopping, where I shop, how I shop. I'll probably do that video if you guys are interested. So comment below, let me know if you guys are interested in that, so that way you guys can see examples of what I mean by the PLU 5-digit code on all organic foods. And yeah, so I thank you for watching. I know this was pretty short. Again, I try to keep these short and simple, straight to the point. I hate watching videos where they're just rambling and not really getting to what the video was about in the first place. So I hope I'm able to do that for you guys. I thank you so much for all the support that you've been giving me so far. You know, this is a very exciting journey for me and starting my new YouTube channel. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Simone, and thank you for watching Mothers Teach. Until next time.